Which island? The Last Night. Part 2. The boys were trapped. It seemed the end had come for them, because they were surrounded by creatures ready to devour them all. If there had been one creature, it would have been a lot easier to fight off than 100. But there was a whole pack of them. After a moment's growling, the monsters charged at the men, who stood with their backs to one another, their sharpened sticks in their hands, ready to defend themselves against the enemy. The first 5 creatures that flew at Rom received blows and were thrown back with such force that they flew 5 meters away. One of the monsters lunged at Maxim, for which he was strung on a stick like a stake. But the guy, without thinking, put down his homemade spear with the creature strung on it, like a kebab on a skewer, and with a tap of his foot shoved the freak off his weapon. Oksana waved the stick as if she were driving away a pack of dogs, and whoever came too close was left lying with a fractured skull. The boys knew they could not give up, for the monsters were waiting for them to break through their weak defenses. The struggle lasted a long time, and yet our heroes were exhausted. They stood, breathing heavily, staring into the eyes of their death, while the freaks slowly, gloatingly approached, hoping to eat them. Just as the creatures prepared to kill the 3 weary comrades in misery, there was the sound of an engine, which made the brutes wary. Gradually the spotlight began to appear, and the noise of the engine continued to intensify. The critters were alien to all this, so they left the shore with the squeal of frightened monkeys. "Phew, lucky," Maxim said in a tired voice with relief. "Hey, we're here. Help!" Running into the light, shouted Oksana. The boat stopped in front of the shore, illuminating the entire coast with a searchlight. A man in a Coast Guard uniform got out of the police boat and headed in the direction of the guys. "Good evening," Oksana said. "Are you all stoned here?" The law enforcement officer started talking straight away. "We have a problem. We came to the island, and some cultists attacked us and stole our boat. They're armed. Our friends were killed." Roman made a clever move. "Sectarians? That sounds like nonsense. A call came in about an attack on fishermen and tourists in these parts. They said they were lured in the same way as you are now, calling for help as they passed the boat, and then it is clear enough that they attacked and killed them. You will have to come with me." "Yeah, I'd love to. We'd better get out of here," Roma said happily. The authorities shone the flashlight over them and made sure that they were unarmed, and said, "Right, come with me, into the boat. And don't do anything stupid or you'll get a bullet in your ass. Understand?" he asked menacingly. "Yes," answered the boys in unison. "Then go on ahead to the boat," ordered the policeman, and the boys went ahead. The searchlight was abruptly turned off, but the policeman paid no attention. All 3 boys approached the transport and stood upright. "What are you doing?" the police officer scolded. There it is. What are you mumbling about?" The policeman ran to the side, drew his weapon, and shouted. When he arrived at the right place, he was horrified to see something bright green-eyed and holding his partner's head on the deck of his workboat. What brought the officer to his senses was that the thing had thrown his fellow officer's head under his feet, thus convincing the officer that he really did see what he was seeing. "You bitch!" the police officer shouted angrily, pointing the barrel of his gun at this killer. Click once, clicked twice, cartridges flew, and 2 flashes of gunfire could be seen. From this the creature backed away, and then, stumbling over the side of the boat, collapsed into the water. The officer followed the vessel across the port side, running over to the starboard side to see what had happened to the creature. Where did it go? Scum! I'm going to kill you, you freak! He spoke up when he didn't find the body of the creature killed by his hand. This visual inspection did not take long. Someone came up behind him and patted the missing in action officer on the shoulder. The officer only had time to hear, "Look out! Behind you!" As his head was separated from his body, remaining in the hands of this monster who had once stolen a boat from 4 friends, and now had easily taken the life of an official. The body of the deceased slid in convulsions on the deck, staining it with blood, and the killer turned to face the guys standing 5 meters from the boat and threw their head, like a soccer ball, right under their feet. It crashed to the ground, making his friends shudder, and the monster jumped over the bow of the boat to the shore, heading for the heads of his shipmates.